Nowadays, flowable composites occupy a more and more important place in adhesive dentistry. We will show here the use X-flow in 3 different situations: at a filling in a distal cavity without opening the marginal crest, as a direct placement into a small cavity with a very small opening, as a liner at the bottom of the cavity under Quicksfield posterior restorative. The X-ray shows the lesions to be treated. We begin with the cavity preparation. We use dental floss to check the point of contact between teeth 5 and 6, which enables us to confirm the presence of undercuts on the filling that would tear the rubber dam when we try to put it in place. We start by removing the sole proximal portion of the filling to enable us to insert the rubber dam more easily. Using a probe, we can see the caries lesion on the distal proximal surface of the premolar. The rubber dam fits easily now, and we start to remove the rest of the amalgam filling. A large mass of secondary caries is discovered under this filling. We also have the distal caries lesion that we have to clean out, and we can see on the screen here that at the cervical margin the enamel bridge has become too fragile. We are therefore obliged to remove this enamel bridge to form a mesial occlusal distal cavity. The caries lesion is cleaned classically using a ball burr mounted on the blue ring contra-angle handpiece, working with care so as not to make the mesiovestibular cusp more fragile than it already is. Here you can see the very large cavity after our preparation. The amalgam is now removed from the second molar tooth using the least traumatic method possible. The distal caries lesion of tooth number 5 is easily accessible with a ball burr thanks to the opening created at tooth 6. We can now see the cavity cleaned, but we have preserved the proximal crest and wall. We use a self-etching adhesive system, Xeno 3, which has 2 advantages. The first is that it is applied in one step, after mixing a drop from each bottle. The second is that the solvent is made up of water and alcohol. This means that slightly hydrated or even dehydrated dentine will not affect the application of the adhesive. The applicator tip enables us to impregnate the dentine layer, and here you can see we have placed a metal matrix to avoid spilling it over the contiguous tooth. Since tooth 5 presents a distal caries lesion, we have not placed any matrix band there. We must make sure that the adhesive is applied on all the cavity walls and on both dentine and enamel. The 3 cavities are treated with the adhesive in the same session. After slight evaporation of the solvent, the adhesive system is light cured with a Degalux lamp for 10 seconds for each cavity. X-flow, the universal flowable restorative, is applied directly from a compular tip into the distal cavity of the premolar. It is very easy to work with and to control where it has to be positioned. We can even make it a little convex, thus reproducing the surface. You can see here that we even have used slightly too much material, and we will deal with this now. To compensate for the excess material applied, we use a metal abrasive strip, rolled around tweezers on one side and kept in place with the finger on the other side. This enables us to place it perfectly into the interproximal surface. It is now easy to reshape the convexity of the distal surface. Naturally, we take care not to tear the rubber dome, since these strips are very sharp. The result: we obtain an ideal convexity on the distal surface of tooth 5 on the upper jaw. At tooth 7, the X-Flow flowable composite is also applied directly out of the cupula. This is greatly facilitated by its thin cannulum, especially in such a posterior area that is usually difficult to access.